Hello, it's Farmer Jay, and welcome back to the farm. Today, we're going to take a look at pigs. There are three types of pigs in the game, and pigs are used for one thing and one thing only, and that is breeding and making money. Unlike cows, sheep, and chickens, pigs require a variety of food. Let's take a look at the pig barn and it will tell us what type of food is required. As you can see, I've also set my pig barns up slightly differently than I did my cow barns so that my manure and my slurry catchment basins will be within the area of all the barns instead of doing it like I did with the cows. If you haven't watched that video, go ahead and watch it and it'll show you where I made my mistake in setting up my manure and slurry pits to catch the extra slurry. So let's look at pigs. Pigs take anything from pig food to beets, potatoes, sunflower, canola, soybeans, wheat, barley, sorghum, or corn. Those are broken down into various categories in terms of proteins. You will see those as we move along. So they do need to be fed three different types of food. Cows can get by just on TMR, and I recommend you only feed cows TMR because it maximizes their milk production. Beef cows, hay is sufficient. Chickens, it's quite simple. It's either sorghum, wheat, or barley. One of those grain crops. So, I'm going to assume you've watched at least part of the other videos and you know about the difference between transporting animals yourself and saving on the transport cost from the animal dealer to the pig pens. So, based on that assumption, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to add let's say 50 pigs to each pigsty. So it doesn't really differentiate between what the different types of pigs do. And that's really what we have to find out. We know from the cows that the Angus and the Limousin, in the long run, their value was the same as they grew up. There was no specific benefit to the beef cows. And in terms of the Holsteins and the Brown Swiss, there was no particular benefit in terms of milk production to either one. Age-wise, as they grew up, the beef cows were definitely worth more per cow than the milking cows. So today we really want to look at, is there a difference between these three types of pigs? Because there's got to be one that's better than the other, or else why include all three? So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add, as I said, 50 I think per pen. In the smaller pens, we're going to put the adults. Let's go with 60 per pen. So we'll start with the German Landrace in this pen. And there they are. I do like the messy ground texture, or the pig pen texture on the ground. This pen, we're going to put Benetham Black Pierre. I guess they're a French breed of sheep. And let's put 60 in there. And in this one, we will put the Berkshire. Let's put 60 in there. And away we go. Now, I also want to track to see if there is difference in prices between the youngsters. So I'm going to put 50 of each in this pen. So 50, 50, and 50. So that gives plenty of room for the pigs to double. All right, time to feed the pigs. Let's take a look at our animal menu. And this is what I meant by the different types of food. Their total effectiveness, similar to cows, is based on the addition of all these types of food. Cows, you reached 100% with TMR, 80% with hay. So like we said with the beef and the dairy, the beef get by with hay. I hate to keep repeating that, but that's something that's new to Farming Simulator 22. Milking cows need TMR to be the most effective. The pigs require a base food, and you can read this down here. They'll eat almost anything. So root crops, those are your potatoes and your sugar beet. Protein, I believe, is your soybeans. Grains, barley and wheat, and base food is corn. So, before we go any further, let's have a look at something interesting. Let's go to our crop prices. Wheat right now, and this is low price for wheat, is selling for anywhere from, say, close to 900. Let's average it out to $900 1,000 liters. We'll keep track of that, and that will no doubt go up. Soybeans, well, they're over $1,000, almost $2,000 per 1,000 liters. Corn, averaging 900. And potatoes are $4.25. Now, this is the interesting part. If you go into the store, you can buy big pallets of pig food. $1,000 gets you 1,000 liters if you use the pallets. If you use big bags, it's even more economical. Because it will cost you $900 for 1,000 liters. So, considering one of your crops alone is selling for $1,000 a liter, $1,000 per 1,000 liters, it's actually cheaper to buy the pig food in bags, especially when you see how it will fill up the different bars. It'll give them everything they need. So you don't need to spend money on corn, sorghum, and so on. you're better off just selling those crops and buying the pig food. This is the only animal in game, I think, where it's cheaper to buy the food from the store than it is to actually grow it and feed it to the animals. You're better off growing it and selling it and then buying the pig food. So I have a couple of big bags ready over at the store. So let's head over to the store and let's start filling up the trailer. And you'll have to excuse me for a second because Farm Cat's decided that he wants to have some snuggle time while we do this. Now, it might be quicker to use a front-end loader to dump the bags in instead of loading them one at a time. You can use a big bag attacher and dump 2 at a time. Or if you use a pallet fork and you're really good with it, you can actually get 4 bags at a time going. So if that doesn't make any sense about the buying the pig food instead of selling your grains instead, it will soon, especially when you see crop prices climb. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this trailer and I will see you over at the pig barn. Okay, so here we are dumping our pig food in. Took 42%. Now remember, the pig barn will take as much. Animal barns are different than 19 in that 19 the amount of feed you could put in was based on the number of animals. The amount of feed you can put in this game is based on the size of the barn. Now, if you're into mods or you don't mind using mods once in a while, the other thing you can use to get pig food is the multi-filling station, which is available on ModHub. I'm only going to use this because it's so much quicker than loading up those bags. And I believe it gives you a little bit more of a discount than buying from the store. So it's going to take me a couple of minutes to fill up each pig barn. In case you missed what I did, it's very simple, and the straw works exactly the same way. You pull up to the feeding silo here. You'll get the overloading icon and just go ahead and dump your food in there. And since this barn's not even close to being full, I'm going to dump some more in. So that's one of the other things we're going to look at is which pig eats more food, if any, and is it proportional to their final value. Okay, so now that you know how to fill up the food, I'm very quickly going to show you how to fill up the straw. Like I said, it works exactly the same way. And then what I'll do is I'll finish filling all the pens. We should get an overloading icon. There we go. And then I will bring you back in and we'll look at some numbers. I'll see you soon. Okay, as you can see, all the pigs are now full. They all have 34,000 liters of food and 25,000 liters of straw. Their value has dropped. We paid $5.25 per pig, and they've dropped to 150, and we paid 200, and they dropped to 40 because the health is right down at the bottom. Happened with all the animals we purchased, so that's nothing new. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead a month, and we'll see where they're at and how much they gained in 1 month. I'm going to try and keep this video as short as possible because really all we want to know is what's worth the most at the end of the day. So that's why I am going to keep bringing you guys in and out rather than making you sit through all the experiments. Alright, be right back. 1 month in, and the pigs have jumped back up to 100% health. They are each valued at $420 now, so they've regained some of their initial price. The piglets have jumped to $145, and they've all gone through more or less the same amount of food. The landrace and the black Pia have gone through, they're down to $33.99, and the Berkshire are at $3,400. So not a huge difference. It's a liter difference in food. So essentially, yep, they all consumed exactly the same amount of food. So rather than do it month by month like we did with the cows, I'm going to jump ahead till, what month are we now? We're October. I'm going to jump ahead to December, and we'll see where the pigs stand then in terms of value. Oh, and as you can see, because they have a 4-month reproduction cycle, they are already a quarter of a way into producing new pigs. I'll be right back. All right, here we are in December. 3 months in. The piglets are 50% towards puberty, and they are now worth $237. All 3 of the other breeds are worth $512. They've gone through the same amount of food. The only difference is the landrace have produced slightly more slurry, so I don't know if maybe that's because the pen's a little out of range. Nope, the Berkshire, yep, it could be that the pen should have been turned around the other way, so it was closer to the tank. But apart from that, all the stats look pretty much the same for the pigs. So far, 3 months in, no clear advantage. So let's skip ahead another 3 months, and we'll see 9 months. Let's skip ahead one month, because I want to see what the baby pigs are worth when they're born. Well, here we are in January, and we have our first batch of piglets. They are worth $94 a piece. And our piglets were worth $40 when we first bought them. But these do come in with a health at 90%. So, That, I guess, is the difference. But apart from that, everything else looks identical. Still, there is no clear winner. So let's skip ahead to month 6 and we will see what's going on. And here we are at 6 months. So the piglets that we initially purchased are now worth $375. And because of 6 months, they've started their reproduction cycle. The adult pigs are up to $650. And their newborn piglets, which are now 2 months old, are up to $191. So, they're doing better than the piglets that we purchased. At 2 months, they're still slightly under the piglets at 3 months, which were $237. So, I'm going to skip ahead till we hit the 12-month mark, and we will see where we're at in terms of reproduction, and hopefully we'll get a better idea of if and when the adult pigs we purchased cap out at a certain value. Like the cows did. I think the optimal for the cows, with the beef cows, was $3,000 to sell them at. After that, it only increased incrementally. All right, so let's go. I will see you at the end of the year 1. Well, here we are. I ran it down to 12 months, and then I realized I ran out of space. These sows tried to reproduce, but there is no room left for them to reproduce, so their reproduction rate is stuck at 0. Their first batch of piglets is almost ready to reproduce. And the babies are very close to their third batch, or very close to puberty. So I would do one of 2 things to make money. First, just a quick look at the numbers. The optimal time, I would say, to sell the pigs is at 10 months old, when they are worth $883. By selling our first batch of pigs at $883, we would make a profit of $22,260. That's minus the cost that we paid for the pigs in the first place. Now, the next batch of pigs, they are young. When they reach 10 months old, will have also given birth to their first batch of piglets, who will be approaching their own breeding age at that point. And you would have then made $26,490. This is based on batches of 30. So 10 months, 30 pigs would make you $26,490. This is assuming you're going to raise your pigs in batches of 3, so you have a constant supply coming in. Every few months, you have another batch to sell. So we would sell the first batch, subtract the cost, $22,260. A couple months later, we sell the next batch at $883 for pure profit of $26,490, and then the cycle repeats. Now, this is on my pen where it was based on 1/3 ratio. We filled the pen by 1/3. You could also do it on a 2 rotation cycle where you raise half your barn till they give batch to the first set of pigs at 10 months old, sell them, raise a second batch up until they give birth to their batch, and so on and so on. In the long run, either which way, you will make pure profit. Well, I won't say pure profit. You have to subtract the cost of pig food, but I haven't done that. That was a little bit too complicated. But either having your pen divided into 2, which are half piglets, half adults, selling the adults, or doing it in thirds. The advantage with the third is you get income coming in every 10 divided by 3 is 3.3 months versus every 5 months. But in the long run, it'll all work out the same way. Now, final thoughts. There are no pigs that seem to be more profitable than the other. They all get raised and will total. They all average $46 a month is what they went up in value by. And they all did it equally. So no pig came out ahead. No pig breed, I should say, came out ahead. Whichever you prefer, whether you prefer the German landrace, which is the traditional pink pig, the pink and brown spotted pig, or the Berkshire, the black piggies, they're all going to work out the same in the long run. So yes, pigs are profitable. They have a shorter gestation period than cows. So I would say, just roughly off the top of my head, 26,490 versus the year it took for the cows. Yeah, you're going to be looking at roughly the same amount of money raising pigs as you will beef cows. There is no production chain with pigs like there is no production chain with beef cows. So just sell them as soon as they get to that right age. The only animals that seem to be worth keeping around longer and longer are sheep, because the older they get, the more wool they produce, and cows, because the older the dairy cows get, the more milk they produce per month per cow. So that's my quick look at pigs. I hope you found it informative. If you have questions or you think I did something wrong, please sound off in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And since it's Christmas Eve, when this video comes out, I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas and enjoy a Christmas ham, since that's what we've been dealing with. Take care and happy holidays.